How's it going, guys? So if you watched our last video, you saw that we did a compression check on this. We're getting ready to pull the motor out. Everything came through just fine. It was between 150 and 160 and all four cylinders, which is, you know, incredible for the amount of miles this thing has and everything. So this time we're going to be stripping everything apart. I got to get the intercooler off. We need to get it up on jack stands because I got a set of coilovers coming. I'm finally going to lower this thing and get the stock suspension off of here, which you guys probably saw in the last video when we went for the last drive. You know how floppy the suspension is, so, and boaty it is. So we're gonna probably put you guys on the time lapse and start taking this stuff apart. Okay, so we got mostly everything torn down. I still got to pull off the rest of the downpipe stuff. Get this catch can out of here. Disconnect a few things with the starter, all that kind of stuff. Motor mounts. And we should be able to pull it out. I got it up on jack stands as best I could with our sketchy fucking driveway or garage floor. So I'm gonna come back in the morning, continue unhooking all this stuff so we can pull the motor out. Alright, engine's out, as you guys just saw. So now, I mean, I gotta tear this thing down. We got the clutch and flywheel off. It is just absolutely filthy. This cam seal right here is leaking really bad, so I'm probably gonna get the old turbo off, get the intake manifold off because I need to get this wiring harness, get a bunch of things I need off of it, crank pulley, exhaust, all that stuff. And in here, we need to clean all of this. My engine mount actually came off, but that thing was just split, so good thing I got those group end mounts. But need to clean all this. I've actually found I have a popped axle boot, so those JDM boots weren't very good. I've already changed that side. I should have just done both, but whatever. But yeah, we're going to be dropping out the whole steering rack and pump and everything. I got a whole new thing from a low mileage car, so still need to go get some tie rod ends, but we got pretty much everything else. I got brand new lines and everything, so I'm going to come back in the morning and work more on that. Alright, so we're back. It's the next day. I just pulled the intake manifold off. You can see how disgusting this thing is. So I'm reusing all the same like sensors and stuff, like the coolant ones here. My NOx sensor I just replaced, so we're just pulling all that stuff off. I'm using the same cam and crank signal sensors because I know those are good. So right now I need to pull off this turbo. This is a TD04. It's spins super freely. There's a little bit of shaft play, but I think that's about, within spec. But I'm going to keep that because it's pretty new. So that's the next thing. I'm going to put you guys on time lapse and I'll just finish ripping this thing apart. Alright, so we got the headers all done. These are all bolted up, crank pulleys on. I still need to torque this down, but I'll do that once I have the alternator on. We got the alternator bracket on. Started getting some of the wiring, which I think I already showed you guys. Got my oil pressure sensor in the back of the head here. I kind of put a little bit too much RTV on it, but I think it'll be okay. I started cleaning up the wiring loom. This is the one off my car. And all the loom stuff was all cracked and old. So I'm just going to replace it all, just seal it back up with some electrical tape. Started putting my intake together, so I got my throttle body that was on my car, so the TPS and everything is still in calibration, so I don't have to reset that. I got my idle air control valve and a PCV valve. Got all that set up, so got all new gaskets for all that stuff, which the gaskets for this idle air control valve are really hard to find. So right now, I just need to get the steering rack out of the car. So I already got the pump out. I just took those lines off. I need to disconnect the steering shaft right there. Get the wheels off. And I can just knock the ball joints out and pull it out from the bottom. Steering rack is out. That was really gross. I also got my axle nut knocked free there, so I can change the boot on this side, because if you guys probably saw my last video, I changed the one on that side, but this one also popped because these are older OEM axles, so I gotta get that axle out and change the boot, which we have a how-to video on if you guys are really interested. I'm just gonna kind of do it. Alright, so I successfully deleted this port here. I used a freeze plug and some RTV, so basically hammered like a 12mm freeze plug in there, and with some RTV coated on the outside, and then I just kind of filled the hole with RTV because I just really don't want it to leak. That's overkill, but it should hold. It should be good. Right now I'm just extending these wires because in order to run the 25D crossover pipe, which is this guy, which you need to clear the intake manifold, you have to extend your coolant temperature sensor wires over the other side. So this is the one for the ECU. So I just extended those about 8 inches or so, and then I got to extend this one for the gauge on the dash. I just bring that over, because normally on a 22T they're on this side, so you just bring them over here. Alright, so we got pretty much everything clean. It took like 1,000 cans of brake clean and degreaser to get all the axle shit all off of there. I got that axle out so we can put the new boot on it. I got my junkyard steering rack here that I got for like 50 bucks. It had pretty low miles. I just put some new tie rod end boots on here and some new tie rod ends. So altogether I'm probably in this like maybe 150 bucks, which is not bad. I also got some white line bushings for these, so these should be a huge upgrade. They're polyurethane, should be nice and stiff. It came with 3 different ones, so you can, you know, like obviously the square one I'm going to use, and it has 2 different sizes of these, so I'm just going to put those on and then I can put the rack in real quick. Alright, so we just got the fuel rails and injectors all set up. So I went to Subaru, got all new O-rings for the ones inside here and all this stuff. So these are my 550cc injectors. So those are all on here permanently. The manifold's not bolted on yet. I still need to clean off one of these spots here for the ground for the main harness. And I still need to modify this plug right here to use a Dodge Neon connector so I can use this MSD coil pack from a Dodge Neon. But it's coming along.
So we're gapping spark plugs, and these are BKRE 7 E11s, which factory for a 22T is 6 E11. So these are 1 range colder, and we're going to gap them to .028 for the 18 pounds of boost that we're going to run. So they're already pretty wide when you get them. I think they're like .04 or something. Squeeze it down a little. It's too much. Just like that. So
Alright.
just enough that you have some friction on it. That's even maybe a little too tight, but I can kind of wiggle it. There. So now that's good. That's .028 inches or 0.7 millimeters.
Alright, so we just bolted the intake manifold on. Didn't really film it because it's just bolting it on. But I got my new gaskets in there. I just bolted it down. Over here I had to, the main harness ground goes right here on this bolt. So I just wanted to ground this down so I make sure it has a good surface to mate to, so it has a good ground. I also redid this. We got a proper copper crush washer for that. So this is my oil pressure and this is all tight and ready to go. I was just working on getting the coolant lines set up. So this one I might have to replace this one, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna try it. We'll see. But I just got to plug all the little sensors in. And it's pretty much ready to go in. So I'm actually gonna end this video here because it's getting a little long. So next time this motor's going in, the car is pretty much set up, ready to go. Got all this cleaned. The axle, boot, and everything's changed. You see it's all clean now. New rack is in, ready to go. I got 1 coilover in. So yeah, next time we are going to put this motor in and set up the coilovers. So make sure to tune in next time and check out the coilover install. It should be pretty fun. Try to actually lower this thing. It should look pretty badass. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.